the Tyranids are here. It's been a while, hasn't it? I'm happy to see the Tyranids. I hope, just for the sake of the buggers, I hope that Olev performs quite nicely here. Not to mention, it's got some pretty good looking bugs. I mean, look at these things. Just remember that they're like a solid 3 to 4 foot tall though. Kind of hefty little cunts. Oh, damn it. Swearing at the start. Really gotta polish up my language. YouTube's not gonna allow that shit any longer. Whoops! Anyway. He's gonna be facing off against Deimos, playing as his classic Force Commander. Pretty good map for these Space Marines, this one. I dare say I'd be happy with the Space Marines here, but Hive Tyrant, probably the better of the 3 choices here. Well, nah, Revenant Alpha can be pretty insane on this map too. We'll see. Hive Tyrant certainly can have some fun abusing all the line of sight blockers. Loads of line of sight blockers. You see the Hormiguts there. Utilising it quite effectively. So the Hive Tyrant just going to be delaying to start off with. Prox's little 360 special there, completely useless against the thing he's actually trying to target, attacks, but it does knock over the Force Commander, which is slightly comical. What's going on this side? A little bit of soft retreating here from the scouts. Just going to get a little bit of poke there on the Hormers. Hormiguts once again, utilising line of sight blockers. So it's definitely annoying for the Space Marines early on. All their pew pew is going to struggle against the melee. But Deimos is doing a good job here. Just soft retreating, no panic. Just has to whittle them away. Obviously the melee resist to the scouts there coming in very handy. Another squad that didn't have melee resist but similar HP would have lost a model to the Hormers here. This side was pushed off by Termagant Brood. Very interesting opening here for Olev, only going for 1 of each Gorn. Extremely rare that you see that. I would expect it means double Warriors and a Ravener squad, but we'll have to see. Could also be Warriors and double Raveners, I guess. I don't really like the sound of that, but we'll see. A little bit of a mismicro there from Olev's Warriors. Didn't jump them into combat because he must have right-clicked here and not directly on attack, so they walked forward. If he jumped them in, it might be able to push them back and prevent the cap. Not a huge deal, but you know, you might give your opponent an extra 30 requisition or so by doing that. It all adds up. Here comes the first Ravener squad. So we might actually see double Raveners, which would be interesting. I mean, Termagants with their crippling poison, and then double Raveners to focus fire the Force Commander could be quite effective in controlling him. The problem is that Raveners don't really trade very well in ranged combat against attacks. Now obviously they can just burrow and send attacks flying and beat them in melee, especially when Warriors are nearby, but it's risky business, you know, you risk eating grenades, you've got shotgun blasts around, Raveners are only light infantry, and generally it does well in tier 1 and it doesn't do well in tier 2 when you get things like Stern Guard, Tactical Space Marine Sergeants, and the Space Marines in general just start leveling up. So if indeed we are going to be seeing double Raveners, it's going to require Olev performing very well in tier 1. He's going to have to utilise the pressure that he has as a Tyranid player. Now we can see that straight away he's winning on the VPs. All this is to be expected as a Tyranid. He has that early game pressure, he has superior map control, he has superior speed, and he has melee units. Raveners here burrowing in I think is a little bit optimistic, but wow, a late retreat there from Deimos. So the force melee onto the tax is going to be able to get one of the models. That Tactical Marine there looking pretty low, does manage to get out without dying. The ASM do get snared by some crippling poison, and now the Hormiguts can run into them. The ASM do have enough energy for a jump out. They're probably just going to try and bleed a couple of Termagants and then get out of there. Yeah. Can't take the fight in melee against the Raveners when Hormiguts are nearby. Now obviously if the Raveners are caught alone, the ASM could just jump them and beat them in melee, no problem. But not when there is so much other DPS going around, and Space Marines are forced off. But they're going to consolidate now around a Force Commander, which is buffing up the damage of the Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines now should be focusing the Raveners, as they do, and that lead model is promptly killed. This is a bit futile really, the crippling poison going in on the Force Commander, but there's no follow-up. I don't really like that Olev is staying in play here. He's just risking more bleed. Yeah, just get out. Fortunately for him, doesn't lose another Ravener model. Ravener models are very expensive, but he does lose a couple of Termers. And the scouts are back out again to cap the map. So Olev loses all map presence with that, but he's clearly going for some sort of fast tech. He's gone for 4 gens, which is generally the optimal amount of gens you ever want for a fast tech. It's exceedingly rare that you would ever want more than 4 gens. You will nearly always just end up floating requisition. I mean, floating power and lacking requisition, and to be honest, you can kind of already see that with Olev's build. I guess a part of that though would have been the bleed. You're going to remember if he didn't bleed those Ravener models, you'd have had, well, not plural, Ravener model plus the Termagant models. He'd have had an easy extra 100 or so. Psychic Scream, very interesting to get that before starting tier 2. Huh, I don't agree with that. And you can see things have changed quite a bit right now, you know, map control in favour of Deimos. And honestly, looking at the economy, Deimos actually has a better economy, more evenly balanced. Once again, Raveners are going to be leading the push, so they take focus fire from 6 bolters. And that is not a situation that you want to be in with Raveners. Tactical Marines are going to be focus firing the Raveners. The Warriors need to be jumping onto the Tactical Marines, as do the Homers. That should be the priority. And basically the ASM should just be kited. Okay, Ravener's going to force melee into attacks here. Raveners do have special attacks, so that will help them out quite a bit. Yeah, and the attacks have to get out of there. Termers are looking like they're in a bad spot though. 4 chainsaws chopping them up right now. The FC and the ASM and the Termers will retreat, but without the bolter support, the ASM here do not want to be going into this melee blob. Still, scouts the whole time, capping the entire map. Caught the natural wreck here. It's now fully matured in favour of Deimos. Caught the natural VP, and Deimos is very quickly starting to turn this game around. VP's now trickling down for Olev. Now Olev does have a colossal lead in terms of VPs, but as I said before, it's all to be expected. It is tier 2 when you get Stern Guard to punish the Raveners, Plasma Guns to punish the Warriors, Razorbacks which you struggled to capture, ASM that can just one-shot your Homonots with Merciless Strike. This is when the Space Marines really get powerful. Sacred Standard to buff up all your bolter damage, Thunderhammer to disrupt all the melee, so this can't happen. So we'll see. Now, you would definitely expect Thunderhammer because this is causing problems for Deimos, this melee bum rush, and Thunderhammer will neuter that really effectively. Now, the way you counter the Thunderhammer generally as Tyranids is you go Tyrant Guards, because Tyrant Guards, yeah, here you go, you see it's already queued up. We've got the Artificer, making him as tanky as you can get, and then the Thunderhammer. Now, the Tyrant Guard, because it's a monstrous creature, it doesn't get knocked over by the Thunderhammer. So when he activates that battle cry and he's knocking over all your Homers, your Ravs, your Warriors, the Tyrant Guard can just nom 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 and kill the FC. And the Tyrant Guard will easily beat the FC in a 1v1 duel as well, even if he gets Iron Halo. So, well, if he has Iron Halo and Artificer and Thunderhammer, it's not an easy fight for the Tyrant Guard, but the Tyrant Guard will win. Might lose maybe half its HP, maybe 60%, depending on the level of the FC. But he'll win, and then obviously, you know, Termagants and Raveners can contribute some DPS. There is a Hive Tyrant lurking around now with Crushing Claws as well. That is the highest DPS melee weapon in the game. But it attacks very fast, so its actual damage against moving targets, not so good. Just don't stand and duel him. You do not want to stand and duel a Hive Tyrant with Crushing Claws. That would be quite crazy. So we'll see. Now that obviously is another option. That functions very similar to a Tyrant Guard. In fact, it's actually better than a Tyrant Guard in terms of damage. And again, he won't be knocked over by the Thunderhammer, so you can use that Crushing Claw Hive Tyrant to counter the Force Commander as well. But here we go, we've got 1 Plasma Gun already. Let's see if he goes for 2 or if he wants Stern Guard. We're not going to know yet because Deimos is currently out of power. He's obviously invested quite a lot here. He's got the Thunderhammer, he's got the ASM Sergeant, he's getting a Razorback on the way. So this is looking like a pretty bad engagement because of the presence of the Thunderhammer here. This Tactical Marine squad's getting quite low. We might see a model drop. However, yeah, Thunderhammer things It's a risky fight either way. These tanks definitely need to get out. I don't know what they're doing. Why did they not retreat sooner? Going to try and save them with the ASM jump, but very delayed there from Deimos, and he's going to lose them. That was very weird. He was fishing for the proc of the backlash, I think, but really kept them in way too long, and this is just a lot of melee. Yeah, not ideal. Losing 2 models here on the ASM. The Razorback finally gets out. Really needed that out a little bit sooner. Perhaps needed to back off of that engagement. I thought it would have gone a lot worse, but I think what happened was the Force Commander ran forward and he procced kind of irrelevant specials that weren't actually knocking over the melee. He'd have been much better off staying back right next to the attacks and disrupting the melee. He wasn't actually disrupting very much with his Thunderhammer at all. And yeah, that's a huge loss to lose the Tactical Marine that literally got upgraded to the Plasma Gun. That's 35 power that just went down the drain, basically. And right now, you know, it'd be lovely to have a little bit of Plasma to try and pew-pew this Tyrant Guard. Tyrant Guard, of course, super heavy infantry armor, so extremely resistant, as you can see, to normal piercing DPS. So bolters aren't going to cut it, but you can kill it with Plasma, unlike a proper vehicle, which of course you need missile launchers to kill. Annoying though, because when it goes into the shield wall, it gets the vehicle armor, so then you can't kill it with Plasma. You need something that does damage to vehicles, like a missile launcher, like a melter bomb, like a power fist, but it's not worth it just to get those AV tools against the Tyrant Guard. Honestly, with the Razorback, you can often just kite it and put it into its shield wall and basically just keep draining its energy, because it requires energy every time it goes into shield wall, and it just becomes redundant. Oh, well, he has Stern Guard now anyway. So before the Emperor goes down on the Stern Guard, they're using Vengeance rounds right now, which do really good damage to both super heavy infantry and vehicle armor. I would imagine that Vengeance rounds for the Emperor will kill the Tyrant Guard. Unfortunately, at the moment, only 1 model's firing. Yeah, so he needs to move forward. He's swapping to Hellfire, so he's committing to the fight, going to kill them later. We see the Psychic Scream here for the Hive Tyrant. Definitely been putting in work in the big fights. AoE damage reduction makes all enemies in the area do 30% less damage. A really powerful ability for quite cheap cost. Hellfire rounds need to focus on the Homologs. Don't think they're going to be getting the wipe though. Raveners do not have their melee upgrade, which will give them more speed and more health. Would be very helpful in these instances. Raveners probably going to be bleeding some models here. Definitely going to be bleeding some models. Raveners need to get out or they might wipe. Hellfire rounds over here. They do that damage over time. How the hell did no Ravener models die with 120 HP? Are you kidding me? Very, very lucky there for Olev. Hive Tyrant now got the bonded exoskeletons, so not only does that give him a juicy increase to his max HP and his HP regen, gives him the beautiful and very innovatively named invulnerability ability, which, can you guess what that does, guys? Makes him invulnerable for 9 seconds. You've seen it used there, just to stall a little bit longer. You see, this is the problem. Due to the slow speed of the Tyrant Guard, Olev doesn't want to send it all the way back to the base to heal. So he's using Shield Wall in the field, but then the Stern Guard can just focus fire with the Vengeance rounds. Now, it does take a lot of time due to the innate HP regen or Shield Wall, but you've got to support it, and it means that Olev is coming back out onto the field without full HP. Look at those Raveners, super low on HP. Deimos should definitely be trying to focus down those Raveners. Bleeding Ravener and Warrior models is kind of how you bleed the Tyranids out. You can kill Gaunts all day, especially once they get their Endless Swarm upgrade in Tier 2. It really isn't going to do too much. This would be a good opportunity for a beautiful Merciless Strike. Doesn't need it though, automatically getting some backlash there on the Warriors, killing 1 model. It's going to be the Horngots retreating as well, certainly when the Force Commander engages here with the Thunderhammer. And the Hive Tyrant's attempting something. Let's see how he can do. He's there in the back line. Problem is he's not fast enough to catch up to this Razorback, and as powerful as the Crushing Claw is, going for the Crushing Claw means that he doesn't have that Venom Cannon right now. I mean, he could definitely go for the Venom Cannon, kill the Razorback, and then swap back to the Crushing Claw. I actually think that would be quite a good play right now. As the observers were mentioning, there is now a second Tyrant Guard that was just chilling in base there while the big fight was happening. Okay, well it's going to be a Dreadnought from Deimos. That's going to be pretty scary. Certainly going to help control this Hive Tyrant just bum rushing in. Dreadnought will do okay against Tyrant Guards. I mean, honestly, it doesn't do amazing. They have such high HP that they actually do fare very well. And also, if you don't know, they do get the damage resistance buff from basic Synapse as well. So when these Tyrant Guards are nearby to the Hive Tyrant, they've got 2,500 HP times 1.2 effectively. Well, you know, all income damage is reduced by 20%. So they become very, very tough. Now we're seeing Rippers getting spawned out of the capillary towers as well. Rippers, though, basically bait for the Dreadnought to get easy procs of inspiration. But here we go, we've got a big fight up top, we've got Gaunts engaging, the Warriors have already been forced off, however we've got the Hive Tyrant and double Tyrant Guard right now, ripping the Dreadnought to pieces. Oh, this is not a good idea. I don't know why the Dreadnought is committing to fighting double Tyrant Guard and a Hive Tyrant. That doesn't seem like a very good idea to me. I mean, you've got the Razorback, just keep kiting. There is now going to be a triple Tyrant Guard coming out. I mean, this is just a Tyrant Guard spam, more plasma is going to be needed. It's frustrating because he has the Stern Guard, but then again, you need the Stern Guard anyway for the Vengeance rounds to actually finish off the Tyrant Guard. Problem here is right now there's only 3 Stern Guard models, so they're only doing 75% of their damage, which probably isn't enough to get through the shield wall. Okay, it looks like it is just barely, but that's going to take forever. I think he needs to drive the Razorback closer to get the final model. It doesn't matter, the other Tyrant Guard's tying them up anyway. The good thing for Deimos is he is killing off the crappy infantry. Nice use of For the Emperor here. I really think these Raveners honestly would have been a lot better just getting their enhanced muscle coil melee upgrade. I haven't seen them do much work with their Devourers. Every time I've looked at them, they've been putting in work in melee. But either way, with For the Emperor on the ASM there and the ASM getting the jump on them, they still have lost. Hormagaunts are down for the Tyranids, so they're relying on Raveners, Warriors, and Termagants now to cap the map. A beautiful charge there from the Tyrant Guard, that's going to hurt the ASM. And yeah, they lose the Sergeant and another model, and that really hurts Deimos. Right now, the Plasma Attacks are shooting the wrong target, they definitely should be shooting the other Tyrant Guard that's annoying Shield Wall. Plasma not really going to do anything against Shield Wall. Tyrant Guard is slowly dying here. But honestly, the Force Commander should just be focusing on killing the other Tyrant Guard that's not in Shield Wall. This is just a waste of time. Oh wow, he actually swaps the Power Fist. I guess that's fair enough. Certainly going to put a lot more pressure onto the Tyrant Guards while they're in Shield Wall. He needs more forms of AV, and this is a good way to do it. It does mean that he will be more vulnerable against the Warriors. However, you see Battlecry being used here. We've now got the Sacred Standard, so the sheer level of DPS coming out of these Plasma Gun Tactical Space Marines with the Kraken rounds is going to be insane. And it's probably going to be one dead Tyrant Guard here, yeah. For the Emperor being used in the Force Commander, he's going to die anyway. Yep. Eaten. But now we're going to get the Sacred Standard buff being amplified because the FC is dead nearby. And should be a kill on this Tyrant Guard. ASM going to move around, go for the natural VP, Termagants going for the natural VP of Deimos. This contested one is impossible to contest for Deimos right now because of the presence of another Tyrant Guard. Obviously, Deimos can't see that. He's going to encounter it now. Could still attempt the decap with the infiltration, hope that Olev doesn't spot it, but really I think that this Tactical Marine and Razorback should be focusing on this VP right now. Just leave the Tyrant Guard to be killed with the Stern Guard. There is a cooldown when you come out of the Shield Wall, you can't just instantly go back in it, so even if the Tyrant Guard comes out of Shield Wall and ties these guys up in melee, if you just walk away and can drive your Razorback and Plasma over. Oh, I just realised the VPs are at 0. All the more reason to be sending the Razorback down here then. I don't really know what happened there with Deimos' prioritization, but nonetheless, the spam of Tyrant Guards wins the day. I mean, Olev's forces were... I guess they were doing fine, to be honest. He did lose the Hormagaunt, but... you know, just got another Tyrant Guard. Was going to lose this Tyrant Guard, but... Deimos was losing things as well. Force Commander down, ASM getting out with one model lost there. You know, this is hurting his economy. He couldn't get away. I guess the turning point in this game was Deimos putting all the money into the Dreadnought and then losing it instantly to double Tyrant Guard and a Crushing Claw Hive Tyrant. Pretty spooky stuff. But what can you do? Like I said, don't trade with a Crushing Claw Hive Tyrant. It's got really bad damage against moving targets because it attacks too fast. Its DPS is high, but its damage per hit is not. So just don't stand and trade against it, or it will tear you to pieces. Maybe the Dreadnought was not the best idea. Perhaps Librarian and Devastators would have been more useful. I don't think the Dreadnought was terrible. I think it was very usable. It's just you can't commit to standing and trading against double Tyrant Guards and a Hive Tyrant. It's too much. Anywho, that was nice to see, and hey, the Buggos won. Thank goodness, thank goodness. That's going to be all from you, boy Torpid. Signing out.